someone up here. Kind of saving a couple seats for Jonathan Carroll. We got a couple seats up here. We got Jonathan Carroll, Joyce, and Daryl. You good with that? Jerry, we're going to do Jonathan Carroll, Joyce, and Daryl. You get like the throne.
I'm going to need a big thing. Oh, yeah.
We're looking for. Yeah.
We came here to do sign up the other day.
Oh, you found him? We're looking for Jonathan. Yeah. Probably talking motorcycles, I'm guessing. Jerry, you got a word with Chad?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what he looks like.
Huh?
He's the youngest guy here. That's how you know.
Okay. He's like, hi, I'm Chad.
That's him. Exactly.
Hey, brother, thanks for everything, man.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Once we find Jonathan, we're good. Okay. Thanks, Marty. Did we find you? Oh, okay. You must be talking motorcycles with somebody. Huh? Typical Jonathan. He's eating his t-shirt. Yeah. He's pretty easygoing guy. Are there seats? Are there seats?
I think everybody's pretty solid.
Okay.
You can try. Bang, 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 bang. Check, check.
If anybody needs or feels they want to, we have 5 seats that are a little closer. We have 5 seats that are a little closer. If anybody needs it, way back there. Ready? Can we kick it off? Oh, there we go. How's that?
I'll help with the volume so you don't need to speak right into it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. We ready, brother?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, the format for today is I'm going to do a little presentation, some fun things. It's going to include a little bit of family history, which we'll get to. It's interesting, and it kind of shows the maternal lineage, so we know where our mom came, your friend, family, maternal. I'm not going to cover all all the 4 lines. So no worries, because that'd be thousands of people. I'm going to say a few things, and then extra thanks to Jerry. Jerry, did you want to say something now, or are you going to? Nope, let's keep it with our format. Okay, and then it'll be, so I'm going to do a few things, say a few things, cover some things, and it'll be Jerry, Daryl first, then Jerry, and then we'll go from there. And then, yeah. So, me, Daryl, Jerry, and then anyone else after that. We'll probably have Jonathan say a few words. Jonathan and Carol are going to help hand out a couple things when we get to it. So after Jerry, there'll be an opportunity for anyone who wants to say anything. You can just stand up where you are, or you can come up here, whatever. So that gives you a little opportunity to think if you do want to say something. If not, we're happy to have you here, and we're really grateful. So anyway, here we go. We're here to honor and celebrate the life and contributions Sally made to our lives and our community. I think all of you know and recognize her smile. For me, her laughter was fantastic. I was, I don't know, sometimes I did say something and she would just laugh, and it was just the best. Extra thanks to, well, I'm going to let Jerry do some of the thank yous. We've got a list here. Let me see here, I've had so many interesting experiences just in the last few days since she passed, of people sharing things. And I want to say thank you for sharing that. It adds, most of you I know pretty well, but you added so much to her life, and that came through in the experiences that we had with her. So thank you. In the early years, I kind of have like early, middle, and later. In the early years, as you know, me, Jerry, Daryl, we would do a lot of things together, like beaches, vacations. She loved to have little events. I remember distinctly her taking bags of candy and standing out in the middle of the yard and spinning, and this candy would go flying. And it's like, yeah, you know. That was her. That was kind of her. That was her style, just to have upbeat events. My birthdays, some of you, at least my relatives, were at my birthdays. They were the best. It just happened that it was right near 4th of July, but those are some of the very best memories of us making homemade ice cream, churning that thing, fireworks, food. It was just a blast. Those are some of my fondest memories, just want you to know. And thanks to not just her, but the rest of my family. I tell you, all of us recognize that the people in this room are some of the best people on the planet. It's just so cool. You know, it's unusual to have this much support. Maybe not unusual, but it's nice to have this much support that you've had for your whole life. I mean, people like Don and Elsie and Marilyn and Jane and so on that we've known forever. And it's just comfortable and just as easy as when I was 5 years old. I love it. One thing with my mom, as we got through the quote-unquote some of the early years, which, you know, like every family had a little ups and downs, little twerks and tweaks. But I would bring home and introduce her to some different books like Rumi, Emerson, or Shaki Gawain, Louise Hay, and she started to really like those, and we'd have a lot of enjoyable conversations. And it was no secret, including with her, that she would often call or rely on all three of us, but I think I got some more of it than others. So one time I did sweat lodges for about 10 years, because actually on my father's side, we're part Chippewa, a little bit of Indian. So I did sweat lodges, over 100 sweat lodges, and I learned a lot with the natives. And one of them, and this is going to be funny, so hang in there for a second. My Indian name that was given to me was Manitou and Wewin. Manitou those who live in the Leelanau area know Manitou means spirit, and Wewin means messenger. So that was the name that was given to me because in sweat lodges, I knew some Lakota, but words would come through just easy enough. I don't know why. And then the elder would translate it. So, especially in the early years, there was some funny things going on. But so one of the things that came through in a sweat lodge was that she would say, "Well, what did you learn at the sweat lodge?" And I said, "Well, one of the things that came through this week was that we choose our parents." And I must have kind of went like, "Oh man," And she was trying to eat a muffin, and I said, "Well, one of them was that we choose our parents." And I must have had like a look like, "Why?" And so she saw that, and she started laughing. She was in the middle of eating a muffin. She could not stop laughing. She had to go get rid of the muffin, laugh. And then, so she said, "So this is all your fault." I said, "Yeah, I was blaming God this whole time. I guess it was my fault." So those were the experiences that we got to be comfortable sharing. And I was trying to, we were always sort of bettering ourselves. And we were able to do that through some of these things. And Carol knows, like Louise Hay and other members of our family would have these experiences with her. And we would have nice conversations. So that was something that was valuable and fun with me. We kept each other up to date on family members all the time. The middle years, I think, were good and happy, raising kids and so on. We were good kids, but once you get through that, it kind of freed up, and she was able to spend more time like with a couple different church organizations and take a Course of Miracles and the Unity Church and different things and be involved with. She had a good relationship with Rudy, if anybody remembers Rudy, and Thad, everyone remembers Thad. And these were just good, healthy years for her. So I was very thankful. We had a lot of fun, and she was had wonderful coworkers, great experience there. So I was thankful for all those years that she just got to be in Traverse City, be with friends and family, experience just a nice life. So that was good. Jason Allen, if anybody remembers or knows Jason Allen, at that time I was doing quite a bit with state retirement and so on. Mom was saying how nice it would be to retire early. So Jason and I contacted Jason, and I wrote, at the time I knew how to do this, I wrote legislation. The wording, it sounds like, like, oh, wow, legislation. It's really just a paragraph, so don't feel too, it's not that big a deal. So wrote the paragraph, and Jason and I lobbied for 3 days in Lansing to get an early retirement plan in place. So when that came around, bought her a few years of time, she was actually able to retire early. When she was able to enjoy it, it wasn't, just early, but those were years that she was healthy and active. So that was a big plus, and I was very happy that she was able to retire early. That was cool. Kind of skipping forward. Later years, she had a lot of time with volunteering. You'll see that in the write-up that we did for her. And actually, she wrote a lot of that. And some of the pictures, not that one, but I remember her practicing for that smile. She was very presentable, right, Carol? Carol and Cynthia both help get clothes for her. But always liked to be presentable, neat and clean, tidy. I love that about her. She liked her trinkets and so on. And she loved talking to everyone, phone, in person, what have you. That was a good thing. And in her later years, she had time and more time to do that instead of just working So that was fantastic. She enjoyed one thing when I was 14. I was doing construction when I was 10, 11, 12, so on. But when I was 14, I said, I'm going to take a break for the winter months. And I went and worked at Tom's Food Market, part-time, evenings and weekends. And I was just part-time. And but I'd walk down to Tom's, West Bay, do my thing. But I was typical kind of me, zooming around, multitasking, cheerful. And one of the cashiers said, hey, congratulations. I go, for what? Well, you got Employee of the Year. I'm like, no, I'm part-time. I didn't even think about it. Went home. Ben, the store manager, I don't know if you guys knew Ben, he showed up at the door. Sally answers and goes, hi, Ben. Do you need, because I had some old farm equipment, and he'd come up and take it down to the store for display. Oh, did you need some of Tim's? What? And he goes, no. Tim left without, picking up his prize. And she goes, Tim, Ben's here. Well, I'd won a trip to New York for 10 days to the Plaza Hotel. I'm like, no, I'm part-time. I'm not even eligible. He goes, no, everyone voted. And I said, Mom, do you want to go to New York? Because it was like in March. I go, guess what I'm getting you for your birthday? And we had the best time. And we went also to Hawaii for 10 days, Arizona, hang out with Don and Elsie. Jerry was traveling and working, got her to New England and Florida and the Caribbean with Jane and Elaine. Daryl got her out to California. So some of the fun times that I had with her were traveling, including just going to Empire or going down to West Bay Beach, whatever. Lots of swimming and lots of fun when we were kids. I loved it. There's a couple things, if it's okay with everyone, I'd like to, we're going to hop into the, what I call the lineage or the family history. And I'm going to have Jonathan and Carol hand out a couple things for me, if you don't mind. Let's see here. You guys want to split this up. Hand me the paper clip, I guess. If we don't have enough, just kind of share. Oh, this is Jonathan. He's our 21, just turned 21, our son, electrician, good guy. And I'm going to need one too, Jonathan. Thank you, sir. So, there's going to be a quiz. Harold, pay attention. About 20 years ago, it's actually more than that, I very carefully printed this thing out and made photocopies, sent it out to all my aunts and uncles that said, if you know, I'm trying to put together a family history. I even put the return envelope, stamped it, said, can you please fill this out if you know any of the relatives? I got 0 responses. 2 years of therapy, I found that I could just go to Ancestry.com. So it's actually not as easy. Cynthia has done some work on lineage, and it's not as easy as you think. You just don't go and click, there it is. Gary is nodding. Yeah. I think Gary's got, do you have the Bible? A Bible?
Yeah, but I don't think it's...
Doesn't to help much.
No, I don't know how where it doesn't belong. I don't think it really belongs to it. Somehow like that.
Okay.
The names don't match up with anything.
Okay. It happens. It could be someone else's Bible.
Yeah.
That's been the whole issue all along, probably, Gary. You're reading the wrong Bible, dude. So I started doing some Ancestry. I got to like 200 people, which I thought was a lot. And then I saw a name that it was familiar, and I called her downstate, and she goes, well, I've got 1,200 names. I go, oh, wow. I thought 200 was a lot. She goes, oh, child, that's not a lot. You got to call so-and-so in Wisconsin. I did. She goes, well, I got 4,000 names. I'm like, wow. She goes, oh, honey, call so-and-so. She's got 8,000. And at that point, I realized that it's interesting, but it gets like, how much time can you spend on it? But this, yeah. So starting from, I did 230 years. I know it sounds a little unusual, but that's basically the history of the United States is about that old. We're starting up from the top. We have Johann, John. Jonathan, you weren't named after this guy. I didn't even know about him until recently. Now look at the spelling of his last name, please. Okay. So it's intriguing. He was born in 1796. George Washington became president in 1788. He was born in Prussia. Ewa, it's actually EWA, but I ran out of room. So, but the nickname, so it's Eva in German, but it's Eva to us Anglos. Then look at her last name. And Trawa, Itrich. She was born in, let's see, Jonathan, I'm going to have you just kind of hand out some of these. She was born in it's actually K-A-T. It sounds like cat, but it's Keck. West Prussian, Germany. So when you go to look at West Prussian, Germany, it's interesting. And Carol or Jonathan, you guys can split this up. Here, Jonathan, there's a little more. So if you look at the photo, who's got one of the photographs of Walkie-Keck? The laminated one? Yeah, good. So when, actually, Jonathan and I were sitting, I looked up Walkie-Keck, and I go, wait a minute, that's Traverse City. Yeah. This is the Baltic Sea, but it looks like the bay. This looks like Munson and Meyer and the middle school. Wait a minute, this looks like Traverse City. And then when you go to the Walkie-Keck Facebook, there's these ladies dancing around the community room, and I swear to goodness, one of them looks just like Sally. I kid you not. And so I'm like, wow, this is our heritage for those of you who are in the Zelski lineage. That's kind of cool. They married and had Anton. He was more known as Jacob. And you'll notice his spelling of his last name. By then, it kind of solidified here in the United States. Then Christina, and we've talked about, at least here locally, about Christina. I wish I could have met Christina. She lived to be 114. I just need one. Thank you, sir. Okay, Christina Brunau. She was born in Prussia on Easter Day, 1820. She passed on either January 27th or February 1st. This happened to Iggy Pop once. Yeah, probably. He's in Detroit next year. Okay, she passed on. Now this is why you can study this stuff, and like Jerry says, you can spend too much time on it. You can go down this thing. So in one record, she was born on 27th, died on January 27th, as of February 1. The best I can tell is she passed on January 27th, and the funeral was probably on the 1st. She born in 1820, died in 1934, at age 114. I know. Buried in Isidore, Cedar, Michigan, Holy Rosary. Jonathan and I went to, we did find her gravesite, but I didn't want to clean it. It was a lot of like lichen, and you can't really read it. And I didn't want to touch it because I don't know if that might be destroyed or something. So she was Michigan's oldest person at 114 years old. She was 2 months away from being 115. At the time she passed, 90 years ago, she was possibly the oldest person on Earth. Go, Christina. And there is a picture of her. She's like a stout German, and I can just picture her living on the farm with the pies cooling in the window. And I'm like, wow, she truly lived on the earth. It's a farm to table. Well, she'd go out, and there it was. Even today, there are very few people that live to that age. It wasn't until 80 years later that Geraldine Talley, Detroit, passed at 116 years of age, surpassing Christina's record. So it took 80 years for someone to live that long. How the heck? You know? At 22, she married Anton, which is in the first handout. And they moved from Germany to Cedar in 1854. And he just didn't hop on a plane. He was on a ship for a couple, 3 months, and she had 5 kids at that time. So if you thought the 3 of us were a handful, can you imagine 5 on a ship? Oh, Lord. And then so once they got here, they had 6 more children here in Leelanau. A trip to Traverse City was literally a day event. I think you can picture this. So she was Martha's grandmother, Sally's great-grandmother, Tim, Darrell, Jerry's great-great-grandmother, Jonathan's great-great-great-grandmother. So great. Several of our other relatives on that side have lived to be over 100. Next. Jacob and Christina had Adam, married Catherine Makowski. The name Makowski in the Leelanau area is common. We know it. They gave birth to Martha, who married Bertrand. I put Maud in here. Not everyone knows about Maud, but she was married to Bert for 6 months. And Aviat, I went and looked at Aviat. It's in Leelanau. So I don't know. I put her in just out of some honor or respect. There you go. But Martha was cool. I think most of you know Martha. She was awesome. Oh my gosh. She was born in Boyne City, November 8th, 1905, but on many of the documents and many things, it actually shows 1906. And the best I can tell is they just round it up. She passed on December 31, and many of us were there for that. They were married in Muskegon. Their children, John, Gerald, Barbara, Harold. Harold, where are you? Oh, yeah. There you are, brother. Clarity, it's Harold Lauren Richardson, not Lorraine. There's been some confusion about that. Sally Ann, Delbert, Edward. I put Gordon in here because Carol and I Dr. Jan Nagy was our minister, and we meet with her a few times, and she said it's not just two people getting married, it's families getting married, as evidenced here, as evidenced in this room. So I did want to mention Gordon. We didn't have a chance to really do a whole lot, but he was a fun guy. And if I talked to Maryland or he was definitely a part of the family. He was funny. He was part of the family, literally. And I know that my aunts and uncles all kind of hung out, and he was part of it. So the other one I wanted to mention, I think some of you know Ed, and many of you already have this, but I'm going to go ahead and let Jonathan. We do have a little handout. If you didn't get something on Ed, take it. If you want it, fine. If not, it's okay. Ed did pass away in his sleep, but for the few months and the few years leading up to it, we all know that he had a lot of health issues. He hid it. He would fake it at the doctors. I didn't say anything. And he passed in his sleep, even though the last few months were pretty rough. He passed the way he wanted to, and I actually think he picked the day, and he just said he'd had enough, and he went to sleep, and so that was that. That's our family history. Of course, it goes back further than that, but those that we remember, like Martha, our family that's here, when you think about it, the ones we kind of remind ourselves that this is a celebration and it continues on when we're gone. I mean, I think about a lot of you all the time, and it's fun. I'm going to get Daryl up here next. Are you ready? Okay. This is Daryl. We're glad to have him here. The timing was ideal. All right, brother. Love you, man. Take the mic.
I just want to say thank you to both my brothers. They're the greatest people. Really just made Mom's life so awesome, no matter what. It was just, you guys are the best. I'd like to just punctuate and reiterate everything that Tim said, but the thing that I'd like to share, not too much. Joyce has got some handouts in the trunk of the car. But seriously, though, when you think about, when you're a kid, you're just kind of like whatever your parents tell you to do. But Mom made it so fun. I think about, God, how did we fit it all in? And even into our teenage years. But Tim talked about literature. So we shared poetry. We would go to Central elementary school at the time and just go to concerts with Grandma. She was always taking us to travelogues and functions that were cultural. And she shared this stuff with us. We always had it in our house. Go to Gwen Frostic's out in Bel Air and Benzonia, and just we went there, and just what a treat to be in northern Michigan, and just she gave us freedom to figure things out. A lot of that we took, but she didn't stop us, so that was cool. But we would go to just so many places, lakes and trails, and we had our little barbecue, and we would put charcoal in there, and we just packed up that little Comet, and we went all over the place, man. And it was I just love the wilderness. It really just made me really. She connected us with people like yourselves that just had so much, and you were just so giving. Just really thank you. Just going out to lakes and places. We didn't have any of that, but we knew people that did, and my mom was friends with y'all and our family, and we just it was the greatest thing, you know, be out on a lake or stuff that we just never had of our own. But she took us to all those places. But even just as a family, we'd all go. She walked to Lake Michigan from the dunes climb, you know, more than once. She just took us out there, and it was greatest thing in the 70s. I'm sorry, there's nobody there. We thought there's 20 people in the parking lot in the middle of July. Oh my God, the Fudgies are here, you know. And but it was so great. And she would just let me. I mean, from our backyard, you could just walk. I could have walked to the Upper Peninsula. She probably wished I did, but I always came back. So the door was locked, but I never took it personally. Just didn't matter the weather, and I left straight across the road from Pat Keyes' place and just out there with the Beagles and, geez, other relatives at Randall's, just such generous and great people. But she really did. She really took us all over the place, and I don't remember how far north we went, but we just went all over Petoskey, Mackinac Island, just being up at Mackinac Island. I mean, you guys remember what that used to be? You go up there now in July, hello. But we were up there and just enjoyed it so much. And time again, she made the time to take us and do those things. Really an accomplished person, if you think about it. Always learning things and reading and stuff. And she was a tough mom from time to time, but the bigger we got, the more she let us fly on our own, and I really appreciated that. I really did. And, you know, I hit the ground a few times, I'll admit that, but always got up and kept flying. And I landed pretty safely in God's hands, and I appreciate that. So thank you all for coming. It really means a lot. Just to see you all again, it's just like,
All right,
hey,
Daryl.
thank you. That's it.
You're up, Jerry. Thank
I-
you, Daryl.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl. In thinking about what I would say after Tim and Daryl spoke, I didn't know how much there would be more to share. So I'm going to spend my time thanking you all, folks. My mom had 3 families: an immediate family, her work family, and her church family. And turns out all are present today. And thank you all for coming. Boom. Praise the Lord. I want to thank Nicole and Lindsay at the Jonkhoff funeral home here and the staff for making all this happen. Mom had all of this pretty pre-planned, as you can imagine. There were some, things, notes and other stuff that we incorporated it in. But I think Nicole spent about 8 to 10 years from the first draft of all of this to today. So she really stuck it in there, and also meeting with Lindsay the other day and having this go so smoothly was really great. I want to take a moment just to thank those who are live streaming the service today. And a special shout out to Elsie Randall, who I know is watching, and maybe a couple others, people that just couldn't make it. And thanks for these folks for making that, and whoever possible to do so. It's a great thing for those who just can't make it to an event like this. I want to thank Tim and Daryl for their kind words, and Tim's trip down memory lane and the history of all of that. It's a lot of work to go through, and it's also one of the reasons I don't have much to add on my own, other than it was one of the things I remember the most about my mom. 2 things: of after Dad had left, and the struggle that my mom went through, and how we didn't have a lot, but man, the things, like all of a sudden, like Christmas would come, and you just think, well, I guess we'd have a couple of things. You get down there, and the whole living room would be filled with presents. And I don't know where she hid them, or where she bought them, or how she got them, or whatever. But man, it was great. And birthdays and Easter was a big deal. So any of those things that she really made a big event out of. But I know that it was tough for her to do so. I'm going to take a minute to thank my wife Cynthia, Carol, and Joyce. Mom could be a tough customer on those who were taking her little babies from her, and so you all have your own stories on that. But in the big scheme of things, I think we all grew to kind of be together as a family, and you also had such grace and presence and caring for her. Which I appreciate. It was difficult over the last couple of years to go through that. Finally, I think. Nope. I have a special thank you to someone here in the audience today. Is Tammy Grant, who helped my mom transition from home to care with such patience and caring. And hopefully, some of you folks got to meet her. But I don't know. I'm not sure we would have been able to do it without her. So. Finally, thank you for my mom, having the strength to raise 3 boys on her own, stepping up to the task, taking extra classes in her spare time, making her own way with success. We didn't have a lot, but she managed to make special moments, like I said before. I'm just super proud, grateful for all the love that she gave us, and that's it. Thank you. So, is there anybody got a good couple one-liners for Sally? No. So I'm going to introduce Pastor Chad, who was Mom's current minister from the Mission Hill. Is that right? Mission Hill Church, to say a few words, and then I'll just kind of close out.
Thank you. It's good to be here. You asked one-liners or two-liners that someone might share. What's a word that comes to your mind when you think of Sally? A word or two that comes to your mind, and then share that with the person next to you. And then on the count of 5, I'm going to have everyone shout out what word comes to your mind when you think of Sally. Okay? So give it a minute. Now share it next to the person next to you. What's a word that comes to your mind? We'll shout out at 5 what the words are, and we'll see if we can all agree on a few common words for Sally to describe who she was. You thinking about it?
We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
We're ready.
All right, here's the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shout. Who said smile? There's a smile?
I did.
Smile.
Probably a couple other people.
Who said, if you didn't say smile, what's something else you said? Someone please just offer up your answer. Something for Sally. Descriptor for Sally. Vibrant. Smart. Friend. Funny. Generous. Strong-willed. Amen. Sounds like you really knew her. Yeah, we're definitely going to allow strong-willed. The person who said strong-willed, I'm very curious. Who are you? Who said it? And then how long have you known her for? One of our church members said it. 90? Late 90s? So a little while. Yeah, and one of our church members who also would provide rides to Sally for church when Sally was no able longer to come, that we would have a church member strong-willed. So I've only been Sally's pastor for 10 years, okay? So very short time frame compared to those who have known Sally in this room. I'm probably one of the few that have known her for less time than any of you. I mean, show of hands, anybody known Sally for less than 10 years? One person. Maybe, yeah. All right. So 2 or 3 of us in this room. So as a pastor, I can't really speak to any links about Sally. I'm not here to give you a sermon on Sally, because you could all look at me and go, so how long have you known her for? I've known her for 10 years. In over the 10 years, Sally and I have been able to have some conversations after church, and I've been able to get to know her a little bit, but nothing as equal to your experience and your knowledge of Sally. But as pastor, meeting thousands of people over 25 years I've done it, here are a few things I can share about Sally. Very strong-willed, I will say that. I remember I thought that after being at the church for 3 or 4 years that Sally and I were having a really good, strong relationship. I went to hug her and she went, no, not that. So no hug. No hug. I would wear a pink suit at church at times. Some church members like my pink suit. Others do not. Sally made me aware she did not really care for it and that it might grow on her maybe over the course of time, but probably not. Okay. There were times where Sally after church would be with a group of ladies and someone would say to me, hey, Pastor Chad, I really like that. And Sally, I knew she didn't like it because she didn't have to say anything because her face said everything to me. And I knew she didn't have to use words. That Sally did not like that. That was not approved by Sally. But I loved that. I love that. I think that you can be a strong-willed person. You can at times be a person of few words. And you can be a Christ-centered, authentic person and being that way. And the one thing I always respected about Sally was not overly vocal. She didn't write me long letters. She didn't want to talk to me for half an hour after church. But I always felt like in her way, although not perfect, because are any of us perfect? No. But in her own way, she did try to be authentically true to herself. Might not have been everything you wanted. It might not have been everything you would have hoped for at times, but she was trying to remain true to who she was. Whatever standards internally she had are that. And so it's fitting when you think of Sally that her son would tell me that one of the favorite scriptures she had marked, not a lot, but one of the favorite scriptures she had marked was one of those considered of the greatest strength. Isaiah, from the chapter 40, verse 29 through 31. And you're going to be familiar with the scripture right away because you've heard it literally many times in your life. It says, he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. I thought about that and her work being a hearing and a vision tech and helping people, students in schools, migrant program, Medicare, state of Michigan disability. She helped people with vision. And so that she would gravitate towards a passage where God gives strength to the weary and power to the weak. And it continues. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. I heard that she used to do that when she skied. I don't know if she skied much, that she would stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And this passage of scripture right here is a passage in which the writer has a deep faith that God gives strength to those whom trust in him. And Sally's story, which has been spoken of today, she definitely was a woman of deep faith in the sense of that she did believe that God had given her strength and that God would continue to give her strength to carry out that which was before her. Now, it was mentioned, I did not know this until today and listening back there, that Sally liked literature and poems. Because in thinking about Sally and the scripture Isaiah, I Friday night wrote down that I was going to be sharing a few words. And I opened myself up to the Spirit, not a sweat lodge, just my comfortable chair at 11:30 at night with a cup of coffee. No sweat lodge here. But it's Chad the pastor, 11:30 night, saying, "Dear Lord, I'm open to your Spirit, and please help me to understand and speak to Sally." And I was remembering Alfred Tennyson's work, Ulysses, in which in Ulysses, the king, He is aged, but he has become quite dissatisfied with ruling a stagnant kingdom in Ithaca. And as an aging king, he wants one last journey. He wants one last triumph. He wants one last victory. He wants to end his life in the world beyond, the unseen beauty of the world. He doesn't want to die in a stagnant kingdom and complacent. And so in that great work of Ulysses, it says, though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now the strength that which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. And I think that Sally had a very strong will. She had a strong spirit. And I think deep down, she had a very strong faith. And I'm thankful for her life. In the Christian faith, we say, job well done, good and faithful servant, job well done. The criteria to receive those words is not perfection. The criteria to receive those words is just a person who has professed faith in Jesus Christ. And despite their flaws or sometimes their failures or their shortcomings, did seek to live a life of love. So may Sally hear those words in honoring the Christian faith and the Christian spirit. The brothers have requested today that we join together in the Lord's Prayer, because I will tell you, for Sally, coming to church on Sunday, which she personally told me was the highlight of her week. And to be able to say the Lord's Prayer today honors that moment, that time that she was shared with her church family on a Sunday such as this. So all who are of the faith, you are invited to join me in saying the Lord's Prayer at this time. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you.
Anybody? That's it. Really, thanks again, everybody, for showing up today and celebrating this moment with our family, and it's all your family too. So I'm sure that Sally would have loved it if she's not here already. And have a safe trip back for all those that are traveling. I was going to say, there's probably still some snacks and food next door for if you need a little go thing and do whatever you need to do there. But once again, just really appreciate everybody taking the time out of your day and traveling far if you came from afar and that. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.